everything that brought me alive. Going wrong like nonsense, playing with the monsters. They brought me alive, but got no alibi. It's a lover's fight without an alibi. It took my hands without an alibi. Smoking gun, you got me on the wrong. We know that will come. We're out up till dawn, but how can I hide it without an alibi? It's a lover's fight without an alibi. Took my innocence. I can't wait no longer. I'm playing with the monsters. Everything that brought me alive. Going wrong like nonsense. Playing with the monsters. They brought me alive, but got no alibi. It's a lover's fight without an alibi. It took my hands without an alibi.
Afternoon, good evening, and wherever you're watching in the world, welcome along to what is technically the third round of TTML Division number 1, which takes us to the Dutch Grand Prix in Zandvoort. My name is Kieran McGinley, and joining me in a slightly more than uncomfortably warm commentary box this evening is the lovely, the fantastic Mr. James Head. James, how are you tonight?
Sweating, but I'm doing fine. How are you, Kieran?
I'm pretty much the same. I've got to be honest with you. I've got plenty of drink beside me, ready to tackle what is the return to the Dutch Grand Prix, bringing a whole new meaning to the term Dutch angle. I'm really looking forward to getting back out there. From what I've seen, from what I've driven, it's quite a narrow track. Setup is going to be key, and also qualifying in that sense is going to be key too, James.
Yeah, qualifying I think is going to be the main reason that we're going to see quite a condensed grid, I think, and we're going to see a lack of overtaking, I think, as well. It's such a tight track, you can hardly go too wide, especially through the middle and the final sectors. It's going to be so close for these guys to really try and actually make a move. The straight, I think, is the only real overtaking opportunity.
Yeah, and it will become a little bit difficult for the drivers to get the moves done, but I'm sure they've proved to us in the past that they can get them done, so I'm not worried about that at all. Just to bring up the top three from the last time we went racing, obviously we missed Vietnam, to be confirmed about what's happening about that round, but we'll try and update you as soon as we know. So that means we give you the results of the very first round at the Australian Grand Prix. It was Medium Pilot who won the race, Josh M in second with Cal Spur in third, and here is how that did to the standings, obviously unchanged since the end of that first round. What it does mean is that Medium Pilot is still top of the table on 32 points. Josh M in second there on 25, and you can see Calsper in third on 20 points. Dobby there, a big shout out to him. He clawed his way up the field up to 7th place, a fantastic result for the Haas driver. He's back tonight to try and maybe replicate what happened there. In terms of the constructors then, Mercedes at the top of the table by just a slim margin ahead of Williams, with Ferrari in 3rd place, Haas, McLaren and AlphaTauri in 4th, 5th and 6th, Alfa Romeo, Renault and Red Bull getting points on the board, but Racing Point pointless so far this season. And that probably gives us a chance to have a look at the track we're racing tonight. Well, it's the return to the Dutch Grand Prix is what we should be saying. It's been a while since we've raced here, but as you can see, it's so new and so revitalised on the calendar that there aren't even any sector colours, which is what we normally have when we're talking about the Dutch Grand Prix. But anyway, it is 36 laps, 4.2 kilometres, with an average race distance of just over 153 kilometres. Of course, we have 18 minutes of qualifying before a 36-lap race. Most wins here as a driver, well, that was Jim Clark. 4 wins for him, and the most wins as a constructor, Ferrari, with 9 wins. So, the last race, you'll like this, James, the last race was in 1985. Pole position taken by Nelson Piquet in the Brabham, a 1:11.074, a slightly different layout, of course, back then. But it was a race that was won by Niki Lauda in just over 1.5 hours, with Prost and Senna 2nd and 3rd. That Senna name, that Prost and Senna name, they'll never make it. They'll never make it in Formula 1. Never. No, you'll never hear from them again. But that's the last time we went racing. It's, 35 years since the last race at Zandvoort, and we're back.
We are back indeed, and I think it's special because obviously F1 celebrating its 70th anniversary year, unfortunately not sadly taking place because of the world situation that's going on, but we can bring it to you in a sim version. Well, I cannot wait for it because it's the first time I've actually commentated on this track, like I was said last week with Vietnam. And also, I'd want to bring your attention as well back to the drivers' lineup if we can. There's been a couple of little changes over since we first raced in Australia. We've got Killer Blue now in the McLaren, and we've got De Keeper in the German in the Red Bull tonight. So they're 2 driver changes that I just want to bring everyone up to date on. Killer Blue, I've had the privilege of commentating on before in League of Europe. Very quick driver. Watch out for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully we don't get the scenario we did at the last round. We have 12 drivers already in the lobby, so not too far to go. And obviously, I tell you what, so far, the races that we've had, James, we had Australia, which the patch came out, 1.06 came out half an hour before the stream was supposed to start. Last week, there were problems actually getting the race started, or less actually joining into the lobby. So what I like to think is third time's the charm, where it starts okay. Who knows what could happen during it though, because let's face it, it's very warm. I'm already working up a sweat, and I've been sitting here for 10 minutes, so it should be pretty interesting. Which will go first, the race or me? Place your bets.
I think the race, to be honest. I think you're going to be sweating through the next hour and a half of action, I think, that we've got. I can fully agree with what Kieran's just said. I'm already working up a sweat as well. It is so warm. The humidity is rocketing, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. But obviously, if you want to, whilst you're waiting for the stream to start, don't forget you can subscribe down to the YouTube channel below. Hit the notification bell so you're notified every time we go live. And of course, the rebranding. Now we are League Racing TV, so lots of league racing action. Obviously we race every day but Monday, so that's our only day off. We're live every other day, can you believe it? So you don't miss a single bit of action across lots of platforms as well, including LMP3s, which is on a Saturday night, the only series that we run that's not open wheeler. And obviously you can have a look at the other links down below, which include the Twitters. The one you're looking for is TTML F1, which is a link down below there. But you can also follow myself and James on Twitter if you really want to. Our links are down below as well. It just saves me typing or reading them out, because honestly, if I just say, you follow me on KS McGinley, how on earth do you spell that? Well, it's down below. There you go. That makes it much easier. It makes life much easier as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes, and obviously seeing how everything's going to pan out. And Yeah, with a brand new, I say brand new circuit, but it's new to these drivers. They would never have driven the Dutch Grand Prix before, so it's a brand new era for the Dutch Grand Prix. It's just how these cars are going to react to going on such a narrow circuit with a lot of banking.
Yeah, these cars I think are going to find it difficult, especially if drivers have a very unstable setup, because especially through the bank corners, one kick of oversteer will send you spinning on the banking, and that is not the greatest scenario to be in, especially if you have 2 or 3 cars behind and they have to you have to get out of their way, essentially. So it is going to be tight in that question, but also it's going to be quite tight because you can hardly see too wide action, I think, around here. It's so tight and narrow circuit. Obviously, we've got the DRS zones as well, which are going to play a factor. But this track, honestly, it must be one of the tightest tracks I think I've ever commentated on for sure. It belongs in Project Cars 3 rather than F1.
I can't tell whether that's a compliment or a burn. I haven't decided yet. I mean, you're saying it's one of the tightest circuits you've ever been on, but I'm guessing you've never been to Monaco, which coincidentally is the next round. So, a bit sceptical on that one, James. Anyway, looks like drivers are readying up fairly soon. We've got 17 drivers, which isn't too bad considering it is so warm out here. I could completely understand if the drivers say, actually, do you know what? I'd rather stay hydrated, which is absolutely fair enough. But yeah, I know what it's like now, being in a very hot and sweaty room, racing as well as commentating. So I know how that feels. So I don't have any doubts about that as to why maybe some people might not race tonight. Completely understandable. It is just so warm. But just a huge credit and a huge thank you to the 17 that have turned up so far. I mean, battling the elements is one thing that a champion has to do, and in these pretty warm conditions, that just makes that win even more sweeter when you get it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Either that is going to do well here tonight. Should give themselves a big pat on the back. I think all 17 drivers should give themselves a pat on the back even before the start, to be honest, because I have to commend these guys, and I have to commend you, Kieran, for making it here as well. And I'm sure you'll do the same to me, but it's mutual between us. But 30-second countdown has started. We're just moments away from qualifying beginning. Now, I'm going to make a prediction just before we begin. Medium pilot for Paul, Calsper second, and Josh for third.
So there you go, then we'll get to see in just a few minutes' time, about 20 minutes' time, how wrong James is going to be. So stay tuned for that one.
Will be.
Stay tuned for that one. You've got to see now what James's prediction is going to be like and how wrong he actually is. But now counting down now, we've gone past the lobby. We'll have a look at the track. You won't see this yet, but what you will see is hopefully an intro that goes so well planned. It's a narrow track. Overtaking opportunities are limited, but without further ado and without further delay, let's get tonight's proceedings underway. Well, hello and welcome everybody to Zandvoort, technically round 3 of the TTML Division 1 series, and we are here for the Dutch Grand Prix at the new meaning of the Dutch angle. It's been renovated and we return, first time since 1985 when Niki Lauda was the last race winner here at the Zandvoort circuit. Looks like there's going to be sunshine throughout, so let's hope that doesn't affect the track too much, just like Silverstone in the recent races. .2 kilometres takes us around 14 corners of a very narrow track with going the other way, but obviously we hope that that's not going to happen too much. But here we are now in qualifying with drivers starting up their engines. That looks like to me that's a Haas leaving the pits as the first car out on track, and I believe that's going to be, it's either W or Yarum. Haven't quite worked out who it is. So it is Yarum. So there you go. First driver out on track, and I've already not quite done that one right. But there we go. Hopefully now you should be able to see it. I've done it again. I keep wanting to press spectate. Why do they make the spectate menu so difficult now? Right, there we go. Right, okay. Okay, we're back. Don't worry, don't panic. I didn't panic. If you didn't panic, I didn't either. But now we've got Yarum out on track here, and James, it's a very narrow track, and you can see those bits of grass, bits of, well, they're technically sand out here, that are ready to catch the driver out. There's not much margin for error here.
There is not much margin for error at all, and I think any driver that sees themselves put one wheel on the grass or one wheel over the curb could see the car spinning, because it is honestly that unforgiving of a track. And Yarham is about to begin us off, coming through the turn 12 and 13 chicane, as I like to call it, coming through here, or turns 11 and 12, and then through 13 and 14. But it's going to be very interesting to see how he gets on.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's all sorts of Dutch corner names here, which I'm going to horribly mispronounce, but hopefully not too badly here. Through the last banking of turn 15, and now onwards towards that start-finish line. Heading now towards turn 1, this long right-hander here, braking zone. It's much stronger than you realise. The corner is much tighter than you realise too. Good exit there as we head now through turn 2, now in towards turn 3, and now towards that banked hairpin of turn number 4. You can carry a little bit more speed through here, leave your braking a little bit later as well, as we now run all the way through turn 5, through turn 6. If you're brave enough, it's full throttle all the way before you get towards turn 8 here, which is this long right-hander, down the gear, back on the throttle. Use that curve on the left-hand side if you need to. Oh, that's a big moment from Yarham there as he gets into the gravel, and that is the unforgiving nature of this circuit for Yarham. He's found out the hard way, and now he has to do that horrible thing where he has to wait for all those cars to go through. But that was just a little bit too greedy on the entry into 8 there to try and widen the entry point as much as he possibly could, and unfortunately for him, the track bit back.
Yeah, unfortunate for Yarham. It was looking quite a neat lap until that point as well, but that's what I said. One wheel onto the grass can throw you sideways, and look what's already been done. A commentator's curse.
Absolute commentator's curse. I blame James for that one. Anyway, we've got plenty of drivers out there at the moment. We've got Darkbolt as well. I've done the view profile thing again. Why did they change where the spectate button was? Right, anyway, we've got Darkbolt here, who's now making it, goes for a 108.2, but Darkbolt decides he's going to abandon that qualifying lap and heads back towards the pit lane. Dobby then into second place with a 108.7, Recon 108.8, with plenty of drivers out there to set a lap time. So I've done it again. Why do I keep doing this? Right, I'm getting annoyed now. The heat is getting to me already, and we're not even halfway through qualifying. Navy's out there on a flying lap as he now makes his way onwards out towards turns 12 and 13. Heavy braking zone here, but you can carry a little bit of speed through 12 and do the rest of the braking in towards 13. Careful of the traction on the exit of 13 as we now head towards turn 14. Long right-hander here. Don't get too greedy with the throttle pedal as you now head through turn 15. You'll have a lot of faith in the rear end there, especially in the race, as now Navy heads towards that start-finish line. P8 for the Dutchman there. 109.0 for Navy in front of his home crowd.
Yeah, very good lap that actually by Navy. It looked very good through the final sector. 109 flat is 8/10 off Medium Pilot. A Medium Pilot's lap, honestly, 108.2, could take a hell of a lot of beating already, because he's nearly 3/10 ahead of Dashi and 3/10 ahead of Perpetuum as well. So going to take quite a lot of beating, I think. Early days, though.
Absolutely. I can tell you now why I'm getting this wrong, because they have changed where that button was. You did have to scroll down to press spectate, but now spectate's the first button as Venom now goes P10, 109.6. He's instantly dethroned of that one by, I think it was Josh M who set a lap time there. Oh no, he hasn't. He's now making his way around the final corner. But yeah, anyway, now Venom is down to P11 as Josh comes back in towards the pit lane. And we've got Bianchi, who's on a flying lap now in the Alpha Tauri as he makes his way now through that turn number, well, I'm trying to work it out here, turn 11 that is, because it's then the short run towards turn 12 and then in towards turn 13. As you can see, they're keeping it nice and tidy through there, and now onwards towards the final two corners, then through turn 14, then onwards towards turn 15 now, a little bit onto the curb. He's got to be careful not to be too greedy through that final corner as Bianchi now heads towards the start-finish line. And what's his lap going to be from the Alpha Tauri? It's a 109.4 from Bianchi. That puts him just outside of the top 10.
Yeah, interestingly as well, he's on a set of medium compound of tyre, and he's only 1.2 seconds off Medium Pilot, so it's actually not bad of a lap at all. Plenty of improvement can be found on that lap. I think we've got Legend and De Keeper also on a lap as well. So we'll go on board with the Red Bull man, the German, who is purple through the first sector. There's some yellow flags just ahead, but they're well in the distance as De Keeper now approaches the end of the middle sector. Let's see what his split is going to be. 47.998 through the middle sector. So this is not looking too bad of a lap from the German.
No, absolutely not, as he now makes his way towards that final corner then, or at least the penultimate corner, now making his way to the final corner. We had a spinner there just after turn 8. It is a Williams around, but now this is the keeper making his way towards that start-finish line. P9 from the German there, 109.0 from the keeper, and that seems to be a common theme going through here, but I can tell you right now we're already 3 seconds quicker than we were last time we visited the Dutch Grand Prix, and of course that was a different layout back in 1985.
And it just comes to show, I think, the evolution of the F1 cars. From 1985, these cars were setting 111s. Something's happened through the middle sector.
Yeah, it's Darkbolt who's had a little bit of a moment at turn 12, a little bit too much speed through there, locked up the brakes, kept it out of the wall though, but unfortunately for him, those tyres might just not see the race here as he now makes way through. Now he's just pushing to try and get back to the pits and gets himself onto the gravel. Hasn't set a lap time just yet. There's 3 drivers that haven't set lap times yet. CR7, Darkbolt and Killer Blue. Killer Blue, who's out there right now on an outlap. CR7, meanwhile, in the racing point, is currently trying to set a flying lap through it, going through turn 8. You can see that he took a lot of curb on the entry there, but his car reacted well to it, unlike, unfortunately, what happened earlier on at Yara. Now making his way now, just trying to guide that car through turn 11 and now onwards towards turns 12 and 13. Rolling on board now with the racing point, braking hard. It's purple through sector 2. He also went purple through sector 1, so expect big things out of this lap time as he now makes his way through the final 2 corners, a little bit onto the grass on the left-hand side there. Can promote a little bit of understeer if you're not careful. Now going through that final banked corner where it's full throttle all the way now towards that start-finish line. Where would this be for CR7? And it's 4th place then, 108.7 puts him onto the second row, albeit briefly, because I believe that was Dobby who's now just pipped him to that one, to 4th place by just a couple of hundredths of a second. Medium Pilot, meanwhile, 108.0, so that to me indicates that 107s are more than likely.
Yeah, Medium Pilot really putting the bit between his teeth here once again. And with we're nearly halfway through qualifying, he's already 5 tenths ahead of ILRT Dashi in second. Perpexum, though, is on a lap. He's 300s up through the first sector, 4 tenths down, though, in the middle sector. Clearly has ridden the grass somewhere out on track. So the German, I fear, is not going to improve unless he puts in a magical final sector. But to me, I think he's coming back into the pit lane because he's running no ERS.
Well, let's see then as we get through that banking. It's a lovely camera angle there as he now makes his way in towards that pit lane then. And of course, Mercedes currently leading that Constructors' Championship. Williams not too far behind either. As yeah, a little bit of a Constantine. I've done the view profile thing again. Right, we need a view profile count because this is getting on my nerves right now. We've got Killer Blue now, who's on a lap in towards turns 12 and 13. Getting a lot of curb in towards turn 12 there as he now makes his way through onwards towards 14 and 15. Again, trying to take as much speed through there as possible through the final corner and through the banking as he now makes his way towards the start-finish line. What will this be for the McLaren driver? Yet set a lap time in qualifying. He puts himself now onto the 3rd row of the grid with 6th place with a 108.752.
Yeah, that's quite reflective of his pace around here, to be honest. 108.7. He's only 400ths of a second off Dobby. So for a first qualifying performance so far, Killer Blue really proven himself. And I think, to be honest, he can find at least 2-3 tenths out of that. So don't judge that lap time at all, because I think he can go quicker.
Yeah, we're just trying to find a driver out here who's on a flying lap. I believe it's Recon. I think he's on a flying lap. No, it's Calspur. It was one of the Ferraris. I knew that. As he now makes his way in towards the final couple of corners. Remember, Mode 2 on the ERS this season is your hot lap mode. It's not medium anymore. It is hot lap mode. As Calspur now makes his way towards that start-finish line. Can he make an improvement? Yes, he can. P2 for the Ferrari driver. 108.4 from Carlsbury.
9 thousandths ahead of Dashi as well, to Carlsberg currently in second. You know, my prediction not looking too bad now. Medium Pilot Carlsberg first and second. Bianchi, by the way, also improved. He's up to 8th place, improved 7 tenths of a second from a set of mediums to a set of softs. And look at how tight it is, I mean, between 5th to 8th, separated by 600ths of a second.
Carlsbury there's got no front wing, and he somehow lost it through Sector 1, so it's a long, long way back now with no front wing for Carlsbury. Unfortunate for him, but whatever's happened out there has happened very early on, coming out of the pit lane, so he's going to have to go back, new set of tyres, and go again. He has got time on his side, luckily, but he's got to be a little bit more careful out there. That is assuming he's hit the wall. He might have hit somebody else.
Yeah.
We just don't know.
No, he's hit the wall through turn 1. I saw a blue-coloured, a blue-coloured front end plate on the start-finish straight, or just coming out of turn 1 actually. So that is where he's obviously spun it. I think he's trying to apply a little bit too much power, and obviously he spun the car. Simple as that. It's an easy mistake to make around here.
Yeah, very easy to do, as you say there. Let's have a look at Petton. Well, he's actually invalidated his lap, so he's now coming back to the pits. Fourth place for the Mercedes man at the moment, 108.5 from him, still more time to find, but can anybody stop Medium Pilot? There he is then, making his way around the final corner. In fact, let's see what his lap is going to be like then, coming towards the start-finish line. Let's see if we can get rid of some of these graphics on the screen here, just solely focus on the lap time here, making his way in towards turn 1. Lovely entry there from the Williams driver as he makes his way now through 3 and in towards turn 4, and you can see there very deep into 4, but because of the camber there you can carry a little bit more speed through, and it's more forgiving if you carry too much speed. Now making his way through this high speed section now as he makes his way through turn 7, now going through that long right hander of turn 8, down a gear into 7th to make sure he's got enough rotation there, in towards turn 8, and now getting in towards that section of turns 9. Now we're into turn 10 and then towards the left-hander of turn at number 11. There is a DRS detection point going through there, then an activation point here. It's a very short run down towards turn 12 when you compare it to other circuits, but it goes over a crest, now braking hard, now in towards turn 12 and then in towards 13 here, making his way through. Nice exit there, getting up the gears to make sure he reduces that wheel spin wherever possible. Now going into the penultimate corner, and now around that final banking here, going all the way through. You can carry as much speed as you can through there. DRS now wide open for the Williams. What lap time is this going to be? It's a 108.030. He's so close to the 107s, but another great lap there for a Medium Pilot.
And that, if anybody is new to Formula 1, that is how you drive a lap around Zandvoort. Simple as that. No nonsense. No, yeah, just brilliant.
Lost for words, James. Yeah, lost for words would have been a fantastic phrase for that one. CR7 now making his way towards the line as he rounds up, and I don't think he actually set a quicker lap time there. So unfortunate for him, but he'll be looking to try and get that a little bit later on. We've got yellow flags in Sector 2, although I'm not sure what that was for, and then we've got yellow flags in Sector 1. Not entirely sure what for. I think it might be because of slow cars. Marshals are very quick with their yellow flags these days, that they'll wave it for a slow car instead of waving what they should be waving, a white flag signifying a slow car in the next sector. But there you go, they choose the yellow instead.
Yeah, it's going to be quite interesting, I think. I'm on board with Perpetuum, I think, has just started the lap. The German is coming through towards the middle part of Sector 1 and now coming up towards turn number 7 out on track. And this is looking quite good for Perpetuum so far. Let's see what he's going to be like through the first sector. Is he going to be along with Medium Pilot? Well, he's 600ths up, and currently he'd be going theoretically second as a result. Getting very close to the grass there on the inside curve through turn 8, and now through turn 9. A CL7 gets out of the way to the right-hand side. The Mercedes now looking to set a very good lap time here. Let's see what his middle sector split is like. 700ths up, so he's still on for theoretical second best. Very tight to the curve through turn 12 as Venom has retired from the session, as now Perpetuum comes through the final 2 right-handers. This is looking really good from Perpetuum. He's going to be well up there. I think he's going to go ahead of Carlsberg, possibly by about 200-300ths of a second. Takes the thinner line, and actually he takes the thinner line into the pit lane. He duped me there. He was improving.
He absolutely did dupe you there, but maybe he's looking for a new set of tyres here, and maybe trying to make sure that he's the last person out on track to get out there before the checkered flag Carlsberg in as well. CR7 will be making his way back toward the pit lane, which means then the only person out on track is Dartbolt. We've got a McLaren that's just left the pit lane, which is Killer Blue. But let's see what Dartbolt can do then as he makes his way now down the start-finish straight. Very short start-finish straight when you compare to other circuits, for sure. Especially these days. It probably would have been quite long back 30-40 years ago, but not anymore. It's a relatively average start finish straight. Big lock up there from Dartbolt in towards turn 4 there, but he's got the car moving again and now making his way through this high speed section. Yet to set a lap time, or 109.3 sorry, is those lap times so far, so he'll be wanting to get into those 108s as he now gets his way through turn 6 there, or sorry, turn 8, as the car was really hanging on there. He had to fight that one as he now makes his way through turn 10. Oh, and he's around at turn 10, hits the wall hard, and that is Dartbolt there. I think it's safe to say that's his qualifying session over.
Yeah, he could get it into the pit lane, but I think he's only got roughly a minute to get that back. before he has to come out, and he'd be dead on 0 when he comes out the pit lane once again. So Dark Bolt, it was unfortunate because it was looking like a quite good lap. He was 400s down through the first sector, and then he lost control slightly coming through turn 7, I think it was, and then lost control completely coming through turn 9. So Dark Bolt, sadly, not going to take any further part in this session, and he knows it.
There's Blue then making his way through turn 1 and now through turns 2 and 3 before breaking hard in towards turn 4. Using that banking there through 4. Lovely line through there as he now makes his way through 5, then 6, then 7 as we make our way over the crest before you have to think about turn 8 there. Drop a gear through here. You can hear that high engine note where he dropped a gear through 7 there, and then we make our way through turn 8 and then on towards turn 9. It's such a quick circuit, this one. Now into 10 as we now prepare ourselves for turn number 11. A little bit of a long left-hander. You've got to get the traction zone absolutely spot on, which it looks like Blue has done here as he now makes his way that short run towards turns 12 and 13. Momentarily purple there. We'll have to see what that lap is like. But he now makes his way through. Good exit out of 13 there, now in towards the final 2 corners of turns 14, and now going through turn 15 there. Through the banking he goes as close as he can to the grass before making his way towards that start finish line. Can Blue get himself up the order? It's P2 from Blue there, 108.442, just over half a tenth ahead of Kalsper, who's yet to set that lap time. And there he is there, making his way through in towards the final couple of corners. That's Recon, who's improved to P7, 108.5 from him. We've got an Alfa Romeo making their way towards the line, and McLaren just ahead of the car we're watching. That's going to be Carlsbury on an outlap. Here comes Kalsper towards the line. He improves, but not enough to get ahead of Killer Blue. 4th place from him. Josh has gone to P2 now, 108.3 from the Mercedes there, as he now tries to take that away. Dashy towards the line then, 3/10 improvement. Now he goes P2 as we now make our way towards the checkered flag. Medium pilot in the pit, so he will not be able to improve on that lap time. What about Perpetuum? He's trying to make his way towards the line. Can he improve? He goes P4 in the Mercedes there. Lots of times to come across the line. To Keeper does not improve. How about Navy? He's invalidated his lap, so it will not count there. Lots of other cars out on circuit, but Carlsbury, who's on a lap there. Killer Blue is making his way back towards the pit lane, as is the Ferrari. But now we're seeing Carlsbury here. Can he improve on P14? 109.2 from him so far. He's half a second quicker going through Sector 2. So it was a high 108 so far. That's going to get him around about P12, maybe P11. But now making his way through the penultimate corner. Now around the final corner. Can the McLaren drag his way up into the top 10? Towards that start-finish line. Can Carlsbury get the McLaren in the top 10? You bet he can. P8 for Carlsbury there. 108.4 for the McLaren driver. And now it's just a moment to wait and see if there are any other cars on a flying lap right now. I do not think there are. No, they've got a car heading towards the line. That was a Mercedes already, and a lot of cars coming into the pit lane. I'm going to go on a whim here and say that that is qualifying over. And the man on pole position is medium pilot in the Williams there. So close to a 107, but just not quite. 108.030 is enough for pole position here for the Dutch Grand Prix.
1.5 tenths ahead of Dashy, who in turn is 1.5 tenths ahead of Josh, who has then set the same lap time as Perpetuum. Both Mercedes setting the same lap time. And then 3rd down to 11th is covered by just over 2/10 of a second. Unreal qualifying, especially, it seems, for best of the rest.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's pretty close at the top as well, as you were saying. I mean, Josh and Perpetuum, have a look at that. Exactly the same lap time set. But Josh said it first, so he goes P3. So that is the way it goes. But exactly the same lap time to 3 decimal places. That is crazy there. But there is Bianchi in P5 there. Good result for him. Killer Blue in 6th place. Kalsper in 7th. Carlsbury in 8th. And they'll be able to see the full results there as medium pilot takes pole position. Dashy 2nd, Josh 3rd, Perpetuum in 4th with Bianchi 5th, Killer Blue in 6th with Kalsper in 7th, Carlsbury 8th, Dobby in 9th, and Yaron rounds out the top 10. It's Recon 11th, CR7 in 12th, Navy 13th, DeKeeper 14th, Dartbolt in 15th, Legend 16th, who we haven't really seen so much so far, and Venom there is in P17. So that's your order. Entire field separated by 1.5 seconds. The top 14 separated by under 1 second. So the Dutch Grand Prix then. How are your predictions coming along, James?
Medium pilot first, Josh 3rd. It was only Dashy that put me out. Kalsper down in 7th.
You better
So
be having...
not too bad. Two out of three I'll take.
Yeah, you're going to have words with Dashy then, are you, James? But,
fair words.
Fair words. Calm words. Fair words. But
yeah.
definitely words. But anyway, we get to the Dutch Grand Prix now, which, as we all know by now, haven't raced here, I should say, since 1985. Medium Pilot will be hoping to make it back-to-back wins, and the clouds are in the skies. Is there a chance we could be having rain? I wonder. So, obviously, all the drivers set their lap times on soft tyres. So, if that was the case, you would have seen a couple of drivers there try and go for the medium tyres and see if they can extend their stint. So, either the rain comes very early on, or it's not going to come in the first stint. That's all I can decipher from that.
Yeah, to be honest, looking at the cloud cover, it looks like it's going to rain within the first couple of laps, I think, and then we're going to swing to intermediate conditions. I'm not sure if that will be the case. Hopefully it's not, because I'd like to see a dry race around here, but it'll be very interesting because obviously these guys have qualified on dry tyres, especially the top 10 who are starting and probably not operating at the temperature that they would be finding, say, if it was blue skies, and because the softs have to operate at a higher temperature to get cooled down better. So that's essentially them out the window. Watch out for the bottom half of the field, I think, because there's going to be a difference in the strategy. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple of people go hard here.
Well, we'll have to wait and see how everything goes down as we now make our way on towards... Well, we don't need a warm-up lap. We're already pretty warm as it is. But the cars will need warming up, and there you can see the predicted pit stop strategy. Now, that is for medium pilot, which is something that I'm not sure he'd appreciate having on the screen. Apparently soft to hard for a one-stop and soft medium for the two-stop. As you can already see, a Mercedes has run deep in towards that first corner. And of course, there is someone to watch out there in the Haas. It is F1 Dobby, who, if you missed the Australian Grand Prix, started 16th and finished 7th. It was a very, very good drive from Dobby. He starts P9 today, so by that rate of rise there, we should be expecting to see him on the podium.
Yeah, we should, and I think Dobby, to be honest, is in amongst that pack that qualified just 2 tenths away from Josh. So Dobby, I think, has actually got a good chance, possibly sneaking top 6, maybe even the top 5 here tonight. Wouldn't go as far to say maybe a top 3. I just think there might be a couple of drivers that are quicker than him. But certainly, Dobby, he's got his teammate behind him as well, so that's good for backup, because Recon starting on a set of mediums and Navy downwards to Venom, 13th to 17th, all starting on a set of mediums. Everyone, my prediction, by the way, of people going on to hards, yeah, that's another one you can put away.
Well, at least hopefully you'll get the race predictions right. Hey, James, let's hold out for that for now. Oh, yeah.
Do I make a prediction?
Yeah, be my guest.
Go on. Top 3, medium pilot for the win, Perpetum second, Dashy third.
Dashy third. Well, okay, so Josh is going to feel a little bit hard done by if he's not finishing on the podium today, because he'll be saying that's James's fault. But anyway, we're making our way now on towards the grid. 17 drivers start this race. 11 drivers start this race on the soft tyres. Of course, the top 10 have to start on the tyre they set their fastest lap on in qualifying. CR7 is starting on the soft tyre by choice. He's on a brand new set. Everybody else outside the top 10, Recon, Navy, Dekeeper, Darkbolt, Legend and Venom, all starting this race on the medium tyre to try and just get an alternate strategy up and running. So what that means is CR7 needs to have a good start here off the line. He's on the soft tyre, so in theory he should have the superior grip and the superior traction off the line. So we're moments away then from the Dutch Grand Prix, 36 laps around Zandvoort, and we now count up towards the signals to start this race. It is 5 red lights. We're underway in Zandvoort. What are the starts like? Well, Darkbolt's got himself a jump start. He's now drive-through penalty. We've got an incident in the background already. And AlphaTauri, both AlphaTauris involved there. Dashy is already out of this race in Sector 1. Safety cars straight away. And that just looked like he lit up the rear tyres there and hit the wall. The other AlphaTauri there of Bianchi looks like he got caught up in that one as well. He was on the outside there. It looks like he's got away with any damage there, but now Venom has a 5-place grid penalty for a collision with Navy. A little bit of a hectic start there. I think again with a rolling start, but we made it one corner. James, safety car's already out.
Yeah, safety car already out, and it's quite unfortunate. Another driver who I can't remember off the top of my head, but he also has a 5-second time penalty as well. So that's going to be quite interesting. You know, safety cars, they can come in once they might come in threes. You never know. I hope not.
Well, you never know indeed. Lap 2, sorry, of this race has started. And at the moment, Medium Pilot leads the way, but he now will be picked up by the safety car as we start the second lap of this race. It is Medium Pilot who leads then. Perpetuum is in second with Bianchi in third. Killer Blue up to fourth place, but he's now into the pits. So the timing screen's a little bit off there, but it just takes a lap or two to reset itself, and hopefully we'll get running underway once again. But at this moment in time, we are locked in this safety car at this moment with Medium Pilot leading the way. Hopefully he's going to make it 2 out of 2 at the moment, but at the moment he's stuck behind a safety car for a couple of laps here. Still not sure about the weather at the moment. The grey skies are looming, but at the moment we haven't got any rain out on the track, so that's what we're going to go for. Dry for now, and of course this is where Medium Pilot really has to be warming up those tyres, warming up those brakes, keeping them as warm as possible there. So a couple of drivers came into the pits, and Navy and Recon have pitted, assuming they may have had damage, but they've also now served their 5-second penalty, which you can do under the safety car. You can't serve a drive-through under a safety car, so Dartbolt will still need to serve a penalty there for jumping that start. So that is unfortunate for him, but that is the penalty he now has to pay in that other Williams. But only the one retirement so far in Dashi. At this moment in time, we still have 16 runners with Navy and Recon now onto the hard tyres. I wonder, maybe, I can't see the hard tyres lasting to the end of this race. I think, at best, they're going to be probably looking to see if there's a soft stint at the end of this race. Because at the moment now, they both started this race on the medium tyres. They're now going to be on the hard tyres for the rest of this stint, as there's other drivers maybe fading their way to come into the pits. But I think everybody's staying out for now, looking to see what, well, pretty much everyone else is going to do. Dashi in the chat there is reporting that his overtake button got stuck. So that does go up with my theory that he spun up the rear tyres, because of course you add an extra 80, 90, 100 brake horsepower into those already, 800 horsepower torque going to the rear tyres, and you've already asked for trouble. You've already asked too much from those rear tyres. So that goes in theory with what I was saying there, where he did spin up the rear tyres. And just having a look there, yeah, okay, he did spin up the rear tyres and made contact with a McLaren. Now I think that could have been Carlsbury there, that it went towards the left-hand side. It could have been Killer Blue, but obviously the replay I'm watching is already delayed from what you'd already seen, so that's why I'm a little bit behind on that one. But anyway, we've got that safety car out there, and it's just all about keeping your nose clean now, because around here the delta can fluctuate in the first and second sector, so you've just got to be really careful. You can see there, Medium Pilot going the long way around. That's not going to help his tyre life too much. Other drivers to make a note of, well, Venom and De Keeper, 8th and 9th now from the two drivers, and the safety car is in this lap. So we'll restart the action here as we head onto the 4th lap of the Dutch Grand Prix here in TT Masters League. And as you can see there, Medium Pilot is backing them all up there. He's taken the longest possible line through turn 12. He effectively now holds the pace as we head towards the start-finish line. As long as he keeps a constant pace, this is fine, because the other drivers have to follow. The thing he wouldn't be able to do is floor it and then brake again to try and bunch up the pack. He's not allowed to do that, but the constant speed is fine. It looks like he's gone for the gun now, through the penultimate corner, now around the final corner. You can't overtake until you're past and beyond that start-finish line. We are back under green flag racing here in Zandvoort. Medium Pilot leads the way, Josh in second, Perpetuum third, but look at this, there's a racing point of CR7 trying to go up the inside of Yaram now, in towards turn 1. A fantastic restart from the racing point. He's now up to P5 and looking to try and get on the back of Carlsbury now. De Keeper loses out to Bianchi as we now make our way in towards turn 4, but that's the AlphaTauri of Dartbolt there, who's now got front wing damage on the right-hand side. Not only does he have a drive-through penalty, but he's now got that damage front wing, and Killer Blue manages to squeeze his way through. That was a risky one there, especially with a driver that's got less downforce than you, but it just goes from bad to worse for Dartbolt. Still yet to serve that drive-through penalty, because he couldn't have under the safety car. You're not allowed to. Carlsbury, though, 4th place. He's got to watch out for CR7 behind him. As I say that, he loses that back end, the racing point, coming out of turn 11. That might invite Yaram to go up the inside of turn 12. It does. There's a little bit of contact between them, in towards 13, and the racing point goes around, squeezed on the inside there, and now he has to do that long waiting game to try and get that car round. And well, CR7 was still there. and unfortunately for him, the door was closed and he had nowhere else to go. He gets himself back up and running again. Medium Pilot finally sets a fastest lap of the race, a 1:11.2 from the Williams driver. I was about to say Mercedes driver there, but at the moment he leads by just over a second.
Tell you what, he might pull it off as well. He has. A brilliant move by the Italian. He's through and he's up to 7th position. And I think Legend has got through on Calsper as well, and he's up into 10th. So Bianchi flies it around the outside of Venom, gets the move done. He's up into 7th position. Coldsbury as well on the back of Pepetum, looking quite close. But Medium Pilot and Josh getting away out in front.
Yeah, I did the view profile thing again. You can slap me again, James. But yeah, that's what, 5-6 times now? I do apologise. They changed where the spectate button was now. There's a Williams that's around at turn 4, and it is Dartbolt once again. Now, have the team decided to serve the drive-through or repair the front wing? They can't do both here, and it looks like they've repaired the front wing, so he's still got to pit in to serve that drive-through, and it's just going from bad to worse. There's a car off in towards turn 12 there, and that is Venom, who's around there. He's now losing positions left, right and centre. Didn't see quite how that happened, but he found himself stuck on that island as DRS is now enabled, and Dartbolt once again having a moment through turn 8, and that is Venom now coming into the pits. Now, does he have damage on that car? Pit lane is the Renault visiting. Yes, he is. And a new front wing ready.
Yeah, change as well.
And a 5-second penalty, yeah. So a lot of time wasted in this pit lane here. Now they've got to change the front wing too. So that's just an agonising wait for the Renault driver there. But he'll go onto the hard tyres, which that could get him to the end of the race if he's careful on his tyres, which is going to be pretty tricky considering the amount of mid-speed corners there are here at Zandvoort. 31 laps to go, 30 and a bit if you're picky. Medium Pilot leads the way from Josh, and Pepetum, Carlsbury in 4th place, looking to try and make it back-to-back podiums at the very least. Calsper, meanwhile, has a job on his hands. He's got to try and get past Legend and De Keeper. All three of these are on the medium tyres, so they're running that alternate strategy, and they've got to try and make the best of it as much as possible. Killer Blue is also on the back of that Ferrari there, as we can see. I think there was De Keeper locking up majorly in towards turn 12 there, but you can see all a little bit of a train forming between those medium runners. Recon and Navy, by the way, they did pit under the safety car, as I said before. They're onto the hard tyres now. I'm not sure if they can get them to the end, but they're certainly going to give it a try. Maybe they know something about the weather that we don't. Josh, meanwhile, has found a quick turn of pace. He's now just 4/10 behind Medium Pilot, and De Keeper has left the session. We've now got someone around there. De Keeper's dropped with his internet, so now that's a couple of positions that everybody else is going to gain around him. So unfortunate for De Keeper, he was having such a good race, and Dartbolt there exceeding track limits there. He's just letting all the cars go through. Unfortunately for De Keeper, he's now falling down the order where he's not driving that car right now. He'll try and desperately rejoin as best as he possibly can, but he's going to lose a lot of time and a lot of positions.
Yeah, looks like actually he was going to be under pressure anyways from Legend and Calsper just in behind him. He was in 8th position, now down to 12th, and is falling like a stone through the field, which is unfortunate. And he did disconnect down the straight as well, which was very unfortunate. I think Killer Blue, by the way, is on the back of Legend. He is fighting for 10th position. I've got to argue the point. I think Killer Blue is looking quicker than Calsper and Legend. And I think I've just seen a spot of rain as well.
Have you? Are you sure?
That might be my eyesight going. I hope it was. I hope it was a
best
spot of rain.
Best way to introduce that is look at the halo. That's the best way to introduce it. If you see spots of rain on the halo, that's it. It's starting to rain. That's how I go by. Meanwhile, Josh has really picked up the pace now. Just under 3/10 of a second he was there. Before that slight lock up into 4, but Josh is really on the pace again today, and he's looking to make life a little bit difficult for Media Pilot. Keeper has rejoined the session, but he's lost a lot of time. He's now down to P13, still on those medium tyres, but he'll feel rather done by his internet. I'm sure he'll be on the phone to his ISP tomorrow to complain about that one. In the meantime, he's got more than half the race to deal with. Anything could happen, as we've already seen.
Josh has just made a little bit of a mistake there. It's cost him 2/10 of a second, but he was all out of shape coming out of turn 9, I think that was. So the Mercedes did well, actually, to recover the car. He got caught on the curb. Medium Pilot, though, is looking the stronger out of the drivers out on track. Interval timings have gone, by the way, on my side. It might have gone on your side as well, because the Keeper is rejoining the session, so that's why the interval timings need updating.
Yeah, absolutely. As you see there, CR7 is trying to chase down Navy. Now, he got past the Keeper, whilst obviously the the car was disconnected, and you can see there, Josh, you can see all the intervals now come back on your screen as they work their way through. But Josh, less than 4 tenths behind, and Medium Pilot here wanting to make it back-to-back wins. Just a little fun fact for you, the last top 3 was Medium Pilot, Josh and Kalsper at the Australian Grand Prix, and you can see there, Medium Pilot leading, Josh in second, but Kalsbury is, well, Kalsper I should say, down in 8th place, so it's very unlikely we're going to get a repeat fully of the podium last time out, but 2 out of 3 ain't bad so far.
Yeah, not too bad so far. Kalsper actually is beginning to gap Legend a little bit. He could run on a bit of no man's land, but Biaggione Legend's just spun through turn 7, caught on the inside curb. Unfortunate, he somehow Killer Blue avoided him out on track, and my goodness me, that was a horrible spin for Legend. But he's now down from what was 9th position, and he's all the way down in 13th. Luckily, no one around him.
Yeah, he's got front wing damage as well, so we'll have to pit in, probably go onto the hard tyres and try and nurse them to the end of this race. Meanwhile, the 2 Haas's, Yaram and Dobby, are going to be locked in a battle so far. Dobby, who we highlighted earlier in this race, as one to watch, as Yaram here looks like he's going to come into the pits, which he is, so pit windows are open, and for Yaram, he's deciding to take the pit stop now, so that's going to leave Dobby out there. So obviously the 2 Haas's can't pit on the same lap, otherwise there'd be a little bit of bunching up there, as Dartbolt has retired from the session, and is just before turn 11 there, and a safety car's been deployed, so he's obviously binned it going through turn 11, or on the exit of turn 10 I should say, and a safety car's been deployed, second one of the night.
Yeah, second one of the night, and I think, to be honest, this race is a bit of a stop-start sort of motion at the minute. We've already had 2 safety cars. CR7 has just picked up a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car as well, so the Portuguese man not going to be doing that great now with that drive-through penalty, and obviously he can't serve it through the drive-through penalty either. It's going to be really interesting to see. Medium Pilot, Josh was just gaining on Medium Pilot, and I think CR7 has just picked up another drive-through penalty there. Or was that just... did that duplicate twice?
It's certainly the race control warning has come up twice, so hopefully...
Let's have a look.
Hopefully it's only been... yeah, it's come up a 3rd time now. So hopefully...
oh, he's got 3 drive-throughs.
That can't be right. Well, anyway, we've got Medium Pilot who's now coming into the pit lane, because obviously the pit window for them is open pretty much now, and this will be them going onto the hard tyres to get to the end of this race, and that is the quickest I've seen this Mercedes crew go, and CR7 has been disqualified for receiving multiple penalties, and I'm sure he'll be, well, I'm sure they're unwarranted. Having a look at the delta, we can't see what delta they have to run to, so we can only assume that either he was in the red delta the whole time, or the delta was just fluctuating so much they couldn't keep to it. So that's all we can go for now. So unfortunate for CR7, 3rd retirement. I'm going to call it a retirement because it's not a disqualification. It's absolutely not, unless it's proven otherwise. Innocent until proven guilty for CR7 there. That's absolutely sure. But the 2nd safety car of the night to cover off Dartbolt's incident just before turn 11. And we are back under the safety car 6. So Kalsper and Recon have a decision to make. Kalsper's on the medium tyres. He currently leads this race, but he's yet to make his stop. In fact, actually, that might be a lie. Let me have a look at the what will be the pit stops here. Oh, he has made a stop, so he's on the medium tyres, but surely he can't get them to the end, so he's got to think carefully about when he's going to make his final stop. All the runners in this race so far have made at least one stop. So all the runners so far have run each and every tyre that they need to. Carlsbury is out on a set of soft tyres. So he started on the medium, so that's him on the soft tyres now. He'll probably run 2 soft stints maybe to the end of this race. Depends all on how many safety cars we get. But I would say the 2 safety cars we've had have been warranted so far. So that is at least one thing to take away from it. But lap 11, soon to be 12. Kalsper is your race leader. Recon 2nd. How far I would love this. Just to declare the results now as a 1-2. But it is Medium Pilot 3rd, Josh in 4th, Navy 5th, Carlsbury 6th, Dobby 7th, Yaram in 8th, Perpetum 9th, and Bianchi rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, Kalsper, interestingly, is in AI mode running down the straight. I wonder if there's something going on, as the pit window actually is open now for Medium Pilot, lap 12 to 15 on a 1-stop strategy for set of medium compound tyres. But Kalsper going into AI mode is just going to affect and back up the pack essentially, and you could get a 5-second time penalty for somebody that is unwarranted. But luckily he's gone now back into AI mode. I was just going to say he's got out of it and now he's back in. Quite an interesting ploy this, possibly. I'm not sure if he's trying to change something on the settings? I'm not sure what's going on. I can't think of the mind of a driver.
It could be settings, it could be changing a wheel, it could be changing something or other on the controller. Anything like that would trigger it to go into AI mode. What you'll notice actually with patch 1.07 is that now it on the side of the cars and on the front of the cars, it comes up with the driver number rather than the number of the driver they replace. So now Calsper, you can see, is in car number 9. Recon, you'll be able to see very soon, he's in car 20. Oh, I can't see from that distance actually, but yeah, 21. Medium Pilot, I think, is in car number 2, which the last time car number 2 was driven in Formula 1, that was by Stoffel van Dorn back in 2017. Josh M here, you can see in 4th place, and you can see this pack is really bunching up.
I think Navy, did he just go into the back of Josh there? It was very close if he did, but luckily I think he's just got away with it.
No
very
damage.
close, but safety car in this lap.
Yeah, no damage on the front wing, as far as I can see, but Calsper here will be the effective safety car for now. As long as he keeps a consistent pace, he can go whatever speed he likes, really. So he's just trying to make sure he warms up his tyres now, warms up the brakes, and there'll be some sort of communication between the two Ferraris. As I can see there, Carlsbury is really being on the throttle here, and obviously Calsper went a bit too early because the safety car's still out on the track. As you can see here, that's what happens when you go too early. But now we see maybe towards the start-finish line, they can't go until that safety car's gone in, and Calsper here is really taking liberties with this one. Now we get back under racing and towards turn 1. This is going to be a messy one. Can everybody keep it clean through here in towards turn 1? And I think for now they have. 2 and 3 wide we go. 2 by 2, 3 by 3 even in one case, but a clean restart going through the first 3 turns at least for now. As you can see here is De Keeper trying to now go the long way around against Yarm. Oh, Yarm's dropped it! Onto the grass he goes. He manages to keep it facing the right way, but he's lost a ton of positions there. Carlsbury, meanwhile, you can see there, that is the other McLaren of Killer Blue making a move here. There's too many moves going on. Meanwhile, Carlsbury has got the move done on Medium Pilot. He's now up to 4th place. Venom, meanwhile, gets the move done on Killer Blue. Dobby finds himself onto the curbs, has to back out of that one, and he's all the way now down towards P14, the last of the runners right now, as Carlsbury and Josh now battling for position. Carlsbury is up to 3rd on these soft tyres. A good call from the McLaren, but he's got to make those soft tyres last. He's now in 3rd place. Josh on the hards, well, it was always going to be difficult to keep the soft tyre runner behind, and there's yellow flags in sectors 2 and 3. Bianchi is around, and in that little island in turns 12 and 13, he will be able to get that car going again. Doesn't look like there's any front wing damage either, so he can get back going again. But now we're on to lap 14 of this race. Calsper leads from Recon, and Carlsbury is in 3rd place, although he's on the soft tyres, so anything can happen here. Legend on the inside of Yarm, then in towards turn 1. Yarm going the long way round, still side by side. They go a little bit of contact between them, but Yarm manages to hold on. Ahead of Legend he goes and stays in P11 for now. Carlsbury, meanwhile, is going to try and make a move on Recon, surely not going through turn 8. That's not normally a place where you make a move here, but you can see Recon on the hard tyres already dropping a second behind Calsper in the lead of this race. Of course, with that tyre compound difference, Carlsbury's got to get past Recon as soon as he possibly can.
Yeah, he's going to make a count now, and to be honest, that was a very messy restart, to be honest. I'm sure the stewards will have a look at that one. Venom, by the way, did an awesome move down the inside into turn 9, switched it to the inside, I think it was of Dobby, who just got pushed completely out of the way, and now actually Perpetuum has just got the overtake done, has he? There was a slight spin there from De Keeper, but Perpetuum is through on Venom for 8th position, but Venom before that got a terrific move done. Carlsbury on the back of Recon.
That was so close there. In fact, Carlsbury made contact with the right hand side wall there, and he's got front wing damage. So that is unfortunate for Carlsbury there. He went to go to the right hand side. Recon was squeezing, but did he leave enough room? I'll let the stewards decide that one. For now though, Carlsbury with that front wing damage, I mean, he might actually just throw caution to the wind and say, you know what, I'm staying out.
Yeah, I would stay out, to be honest, in his perspective, because he could hold up the likes of Josh and Medium Pilot. The only way he could be overtaken is probably down and through this middle sector, coming through turns 10 and 11, and then also possibly down the straight. But look at that, he's losing time now. Josh and Medium Pilot are right on the back of him. Carlsbury currently net leading of the race as the yellow flag through sector 1 and 2, which I think was Dobby having a half spin, and Bianchi is through on him. Carlsbury, though, up to 3rd, but he's got a train developing behind him.
Absolutely. Calsper still leads this race though now. It's just under a second. Recon has managed to claw his way back into that DRS zone. The only problem is he's got to stay there for the activation point, which is just after that final penultimate corner, I should say, which is just outside of it once again. Riding on board with Josh then as he looks to try and get the move done. I think this might be the McLaren coming into the pit lane, which it is, and that will probably be, well, I mean, he's already used the hard tyres. Oh no, he hasn't. Carlsbury will probably then go onto the hard tyres, which will get him to the end of this race very comfortable. In fact, he's gone onto the mediums. So 21 laps on mediums. It's possible. It is possible. But he's going to have to be very good on his tyres as we've got a car around. It's Yaram in towards turn 1, finds himself spun around there. He rejoins. He rejoins in 13th place. Does he have any damage to that car? No. Looks like he's got away with it scot-free. Whatever it was, he's back up and running again with a car that's at least not wounded.
Yeah, I think he spun on the inside curb coming through turn 1, did Yaram. And he did that in qualifying as well. He did that, I think, twice in qualifying. So Yaram not liking turn 1 at all. Josh, by the way, has been freed because of Carlsbury pitting. He's only 4/10 of a second away on recon, and he's on pressure hard. So this should be down the straight. Josh trying to get the move done on recon. Interesting strategy call as well by the Ferrari is Carlsberg obviously backing up the pack down the straight, maybe to try and employ recon into play and hold these guys up. It's working for now, but these guys have got to pit again, and Josh with a sensational run out the final corner. You can probably see where this one's going to go. He goes sailing on by, down around the outside, down the straight, down into turn 1. Job done. Josh up the second.
Yeah, nice move in the end. Time that to perfection with the DRS and now moves up to second place. His next target now will be Carlsberg. He's already reeling in that Ferrari, both of them. The leaders lock up in towards turn 4 there, but you can see there Josh just managing to get that front end turned in so that he can get a great exit. And now flying through that high-speed S section in towards that long turn at number 8. In towards turn 9 we go, and then towards the tight right-hander of turn 10 before we get to turn 11. Lap 17 of this race, and to tell you of all the strategies, well, we can't possibly tell you. Those that are running on the hard tyres right now are more than likely going to the end of the race. Anybody else on different tyres, it's touch and go, especially for Carlsberg. We don't know when he's due in next, but we don't think he can make it to the end on these sets of mediums.
Yeah, he pitted in the first safety car, so if he's trying to get 33 lap old mediums to the end of this race, and he's got another thing coming, I wouldn't be surprised if he actually does pit in the next lap or two, to be honest, because those tyres are beginning to look quite short. He's staying out for now. Josh chasing them down 6.5 tenths away. Medium pilot though, really impressed with his pace. He's beginning to come into contention. He's got Josh about a second up the road roughly. The medium pilot has now got to try and get past Recon, to then try and get past Josh, and that'll be for the net lead of the race. Recon, Navy and Venom, I think, will have to pit again.
Well, we'll have to see how that goes. Carlsbury then sets the fast lap of the race then, 1:11.1 on a set of the medium tyres, as now we fly our way in towards turn 8 and then towards turn 9. You can see that medium pilot is making life difficult for Recon then as we make our way through. Top 4 then covered by pretty much 2 seconds at this moment in time. It's great to see them so close together, albeit there have been 2 safety cars, but there's 2 different strategies going on between the top 4 right now. You've got Carlsberg who's leading the way on those medium tyres, who we've said before probably will need to get him at least a good portion of this way of this race through, because we may think he has to stop again, but Josh probably has to go to the end of the race now on these hard sets of tyres. Pitted in on that second safety car lap when it was deployed, which was around about lap 10, which is only 2 laps earlier than that soft tyre window actually opened to go onto the hard tyres to get to the end of the race. So all things considered, Josh is going to the end, and so too is medium pilot for sure.
Yeah, Josh definitely going to be making it to the end. Medium pilot will. I think to keep in mind as well, he's only been on these tyres 9 laps, and he's beginning to catch the back of Navy. So actually, there's a bit of a battle now happening for really the top 6 positions, I think, out on track. Carlsberg, Recon, and Navy obviously going to have to pit once again. And don't be surprised that all of them will go on for a set of soft compound tyres if Carlsberg can last those tyres out. Josh is all over the back of Carlsberg. Could have easily got the move done down in towards turn 1, but didn't. He ran out of ERS going down the straight. That ERS is energy recovery. So essentially think of it this way: the car brakes into the corner, he recovers the energy. It's as simple as that, I know.
Simple as that. If only it was actually as simple as that. It's, there's other elements added to it too, but yeah, in layman's terms, yes, you're absolutely right, James. Meanwhile, Josh then making his way through that penultimate corner, and again Carlsberg locking up the tyres, going through that penultimate corner, now going through that final corner. Josh here has got a fantastic run here, but not much ERS left to deploy. In fact, Carlsberg pits in from the lead of this race and gets himself a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Now, to me, that's going to be another set of mediums to get him to the end of the race. So that's going to pretty much put him level with one of the Haas's. In fact, maybe even both of the Haas's as he makes his way out of that pit lane. I think he's just going to rejoin ahead of Yaram here. It's a very tight pit lane exit here, and actually it leaves you vulnerable to an attack in towards turns 3 and 4. Yes, he just about makes it out in front of Yaram there. But on a fresh set of mediums, to take him 17 laps in this race, doable. But there's a long, long way now between himself and a potential race win.
Yeah, Carlsberg's really got to up his game, I think. He's got Yaram, obviously, on that set of mediums, just roughly 4 tenths behind. That gap will increase during the course of this lap. But in layman's terms, I think Carlsberg could be looking possible P7, P8, I'm going to think. Just to put it literally as it is, theoretically. I don't want to make another bold prediction because you saw what happened with Dashi and not even down in Stone 1. Medium Pilot, though, on the back of Recon. Recon running wide. This is Medium Pilot's opportunity, though, to try and get the move done. And to try and get Josh, if he gets this move done, you can probably see why this one's going to go again. Recon defends the inside line, but it looks as if Recon's going to hang in there on the inside. Medium Pilot around the outside, surely with the traction, gets the job done. He's up to second.
Yeah. Got the position done there. Recon thought about trying to make more of a battle of it, but the way the track reacts and behaves in the first part of that lap, it just wasn't worth it. Medium Pilot now takes away second place. Recon now down to third, and now it's Navy who's going to have a couple of words with Recon there as we now get away past the halfway stage. Lap 21 of this race. We have about 16 laps to go, 15 and a bit. If you're picky, it is Josh who leads. We were expecting to go to the end of the race. So too Medium Pilot. Recon here. We are probably... he pitted very early on. He pitted under the first safety car. There or thereabouts to put on a set of hard tyres. He's been on those tyres ever since. It's going to be very, very tricky to get those hard tyres to the end of the race. But we've seen stranger things happen.
We have, and I think, honestly, we could get a double Dutch battle going on with Recon and Navy here. Could be quite interesting for the local fans. I wonder who they're going to support. Navy actually into the pit lane. Double Dutch battle not happening now. He's into pits.
Well, you say that, it could be just on, because this might make Recon react. On go a set of medium tyres for Navy, and away he goes. So he realises that those hard tyres were not going to get him to the end of this race. He's now rejoining a set of mediums. Is he going to rejoin ahead of Carlsbury? Yeah, comfortably ahead of Carlsbury there. And behind Yaram, though, and behind Carlsberg. So he's got to try and work his way up the order in these last 15 laps.
Yeah, doing a good job, I think, though, because obviously he has rejoined. Carlsberg has rejoined in 11th position, Navy in 13th, so he's not too far behind. If he can catch the Yaram and then get the overtake done, he'll be right on the back. Carlsberg, by the way, is all of the back of Dobby coming through turn 9. And this is looking quite good for the Brit, because he's got Bianchi just ahead, and Bianchi's on the back of Legend. So these two now beginning to come back to Dobby and Carlsberg out on track. And I think Carlsberg, arguably, on the fresher set of tyres, he could set a personal best fastest lap here, possibly, but... well, he's 6 and 10th in the middle sector now. But Carlsberg is quicker of these three guys that's ahead of him, for sure.
Well, let's see how that goes. Recon does react. He now pits in, gets onto a set of softs. Softs for the ready then for Recon, so he's confident he can make him last 14 laps. Well, that's a stretch. Ooh. Meanwhile, then, here is Carlsberg, who's looking to try and get this job done then. In towards turn 1 he goes and gets that move done. Meanwhile, Bianchi and Legend are battling. They're going side by side through 2. Now go through turn 3 and 4. And just about they make it through. Legend a nose ahead in towards turn 3. Bianchi gets a good exit out of 4 though, and now we head through 5, through 6 now, around the outside, up the inside of 7. He's got it done. Great move from Bianchi there, and fair play to Legend for that battle there. But the Alpha Tauri got the bravery, got the guts, and got the move.
That is bravery and commitment I think I've never seen around Zandvoort, because Bianchi literally has just swamped Legend around the outside on the same amount of tyres as well. Bianchi has clearly saved something back for the end of this race, and that was a terrific move. Venom, 2 seconds up the road, might still yet need to come into the pits as well. So really, he could be on for P5, possibly Bianchi.
Now here's the thing about the soft tyres. We saw the race leaders, they had to wait until lap 12 in order to get onto the soft tyres. In theory then, Recon could do it. He's now going side by side with one of the Haas's here, down towards turn 1. Meanwhile, and Ferrari and Alfa Romeo are battling in towards turn 1. Both Ferraris move up a place. Kasper up to 8th, Recon up to 11th. So actually, maybe, in theory, Recon could get to the end of this race on those tyres, but he's going to have to work hard to keep those tyres in good nick. At the top of the pack then, it is Josh who leads ahead of Medium Pilot. Remember, Medium Pilot already has scored 2 points today for getting that pole position. So he's actually on 34 before we've even come to the end of these results so far. Fastest lap, obviously, the fastest lap bonus point goes to anybody who makes it to the checkered flag. So far, that's going to be for Carlsbury, a 111.1, down in 14th place, but an extra point could be very, very handy. Now, and again, remember, 30 points for the race winner. It is an alternate point scoring system that we are running this in TTML, but 12 laps to go, and Josh leads the way, hoping to stop Medium Pilot from getting back-to-back wins, but he's got to work hard now because that gap is just over half a second.
Yeah, Kasper on the back of Bianchi, I think, could be quite close down towards turn 1. However, it's not close enough. Maybe he's through on Yoromil down the straight. He's got the move done. The Renault is through and he's up into 12th position. And Recon on the back of W. This could get quite interesting quite quickly. Medium Pilot, by the way, just having a look at his conservation of ERS. He is literally an ERS harvester out on track. 80% of ERS. Josh has only got 13% coming through turn 9. Medium Pilot, I think, is at a massive advantage.
Yeah, you're always at an advantage when you're out with the DRS. Meanwhile, then Dobby makes a mistake and Recon capitalises in towards turn 9 and gets that move done. Just a little bit of understeer through turn 8 with those hard tyres, and Dobby pretty much lets Recon go after that one. Unfortunate for him, but Recon on those soft tyres, I think it was only a matter of time he was going to get that move done. Kasper, meanwhile, now on the back of Bianchi. Big lock-up from him in towards turn 12. Now getting his way through 13 and then onwards towards 14 and 15. Right behind Bianchi. He's going to have this DRS here. And meanwhile, the leaders are battling away as well. Just over 2 tenths separate them. On board with Kasper then, as he makes his way down this start-finish straight. This should be easy, if you like, with that DRS. He's got the inside line then on the Alpha Tauri. He actually tries to take the racing line before braking. And Kasper now up to P7.
Yeah, another easy as you like move, to be honest. And now he can focus on Venom, who was only 1.5 seconds ahead. But with Bianchi actually gaining, Medium Pilot, by the way, is all over the back of Josh coming through turn 9 as well. It's only a tenth of a second separating these guys out on track. Now 3 tenths as they come out into the middle sector. But Recon is through on Legend. That was down through turn 7, was it? Recon?
Through turn 8, yeah, that was through turn 8. When I saw that one on the map, as we're focusing on the race leaders here, who are 6 seconds ahead of De Keeper. So De Keeper's had a fantastic race so far, up in 3rd place, but he's got one of the quickest drivers in the league right behind him in Perpetuum. He's got to try and keep him behind for another 11 laps, soon to be 10 laps, as Josh tries to break that slipstream to Medium Pilot. 10 laps to go here in Zandvoort. Josh leads from Medium Pilot. De Keeper is in 3rd place, but he's 6.7 now, down on the leader. A huge deficit to make up. And at the moment, Perpetuum is looking to try and get past that Red Bull to try and take 3rd place. Recon running side by side with Bianchi then. The Ferrari's got the inside line. He's on the soft tyres as well. He'll have the better traction and the better grip. Recon now up to 8th place. His teammate is now the car next.
Yeah, this could be quite interesting. Recon, obviously, I wonder if Kasper is going to work for team strategy rather than individual strategy. I think, to be honest, hell, let them battle, I think. It'll be fantastic to see them once again battle, I think, out on track. But Kasper's got to be careful. He's got Venom just 3 tenths of a second ahead. Venom is going to be holding up these tyres, I think, to the end of the race now. So Kasper's got to get through quickly. Otherwise, Recon is going to be on the back of him like a rash on a baby.
Well, that's certainly an interesting analogy there, that's for sure. In the meantime, Josh still leads the way ahead of Medium Pilot. Medium Pilot, you can see there, that yellow bar on that, I was going to say the steering wheel, but on the screen of the steering wheel, as it's different on the Williams, You can see that yellow bar there. There's plenty of ERS saved up, and in fact didn't go into overtake mode at all really down that start-finish straight. Because of that DRS, it does a huge job here at Zandvoort.
Cosworth just hitting the wall on the outside of the banking coming around the final corner, but gets the job done, takes the racing line down in towards turn 1. But this is the worst scenario you can have for Recon as well, with Legend getting through on Dobby just in behind Chop as well. And actually Legend is fighting back on Dobby, gets the move done around the outside of turns 2 and 3. Brilliant stuff by the Dane, and he's back through the P10. I don't know where to turn with this action, to be honest. And Recon is surely not going to go for room. Oh, Ben, I'm leaving them short of room completely. 3 second time penalty. I think that'll get removed in a heartbeat, but Recon just getting forced off. Venom had the right to defend, but I don't know.
It was only a tyre, so I think Venom was well within his rights here to try and defend. And there is Recon trying to go for a move up the inside now. A little bit shaky between the two of them as they now make their way down towards 12 and 13. Here you can see aggressive there from the Ferrari as they now make their way in towards 12 and 13. And Recon does have the move done, and Bianchi, the opportunist there, takes that move away from Venom as they're all battling. And meanwhile, the lead of the race is being contested down towards turn 1. Medium Pilot up the inside at 1. Now Josh has the outside of 3 and to the inside of turn 4 there, and Josh just about holds on to the lead of this race with only 8 laps to go here. Josh is trying to hold on for dear life for the lead.
That was an unreal defence by Josh. Honestly, Medium Pilot had a half spin coming out of turn 3 just onto the banking, and Josh literally nicked it around the outside. I thought he was going to get the move done anyways if he didn't spin. So Josh is through back into the lead of the race. Again, you don't know where to turn. Navy is through on Legend, who I think has just made a mistake out of the banking at turn 4. But now, big scenario going to happen. Josh against Medium Pilot for the lead of this race. And Perpetum's not too far.
To keep us round! To keep us round, and Perpetum's run into him. Nowhere to go for the Mercedes there. And, well, that was just the Red Bull dropping it on the exit of turn 11. Too much on the loud pedal, and both the Red Bull and the Mercedes damaged. This could be Blue's chance for a podium.
On a debut as well. Let me just say, on debut as well. Killer Blue is really coming out of this race fantastically well. Perpetum, I think, is going to have to troop around with that front wing damage. That's unfortunate. The keeper is into the pit lane. I thought he could have dekeepered that position, to be honest. I had to get that one in there. I apologise.
Oh dear. Well, Dekeeper's into the pits. He's now put on a set of soft tyres to get him to the end of the race. Meanwhile, Perpetum is looking to try and stay out. Meanwhile, Medium Pilot's up the inside as we head through turn 8. Not normally a place you see cars going side by side. They leave each other the room, and just once again, just able to hold on to that position. These two are going to fight hammer and tongs, and I'm all for it.
Oh, this is going to be a fantastic battle. I think you couldn't have two better drivers who have had such a good race between them. Josh and Medium Pilot, they're 10 seconds clear, let me just add, a Perpetum who's in third and fighting front wing damage with Killer Blue right on his tail. Josh and Medium Pilot are in a league of their own tonight, and I'm all for a good battle as well, because I think Medium Pilot is conserving the ERS, but not as much as before. So that's going to bring Josh, I think, to an advantage, possibly.
Yeah, absolutely. Dekeeper's rejoined as the last of the runners right now, P14, but he's got to keep his head up because he's still got a chance to get the fastest lap of this race, which scores him a bonus point. Obviously, first down to 19th actually does score points so long as you get to the checkered flag. It doesn't matter how many laps down you are. If you make it to the checkered flag, you've got the position. Meanwhile, Killer Blue gets the move done on the Mercedes of Perpetum with minus an end plate on the right hand side of that Mercedes, but now Blue is up a position and now into the podium places. Can he hold on for just 5 more laps?
You would imagine he'll begin to pull away from Perpetum with that front wing damage, so I think Killer Blue is nigh uncertain for P3. Obviously penalties can change. Perpetum, I think, is also on for P4 because Carlsberg is 4 seconds behind him, and I honestly don't see those medians lasting quite well to the end of this race. So it's going to be quite interesting to see in that point. But Josh, Medium Pilot, I think Fight Night Round 3 is going to come out soon.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, it's probably going to be right about now. I'm going to correct myself because once Josh crosses that start-finish line, this will be 5 laps to go. Lap 32 here at Zandvoort, and anything could happen between these two. either one of these two could win this race. Is it going to be Josh? Is it going to be Medium Pilot? Chat, let us know who it could be. Who are the flags flying for in your house tonight? Hopefully you are keeping cool. Stay hydrated as well. We are trying to in this commentary box as well. But make sure you keep yourself cool, stay hydrated, stay safe as well. Josh here holding on to the lead of this race. Medium Pilot not far behind whatsoever. Killer Blue, meanwhile, will just be hoping that the Petem backs off. He's still within DRS range, actually, that Mercedes, so he's not going away. Not just yet. Medium Pilot, though. I wish Josh wishes, I bet, he could say the same about this Williams right on the back of him. Josh wanting to get his first race win of the season. Medium Pilot wanting to make it back-to-back wins. Of course, we didn't have that race in Vietnam. TBC about what's going to happen about that one. Meanwhile, Josh still holding on and hanging on to that lead of the race. We've got yellow flags in sectors 1 and 2. That was a Renault, I think, of Navy, having a little bit of a half moment. And now Legend has really closed up to Navy there. So easy to have a little bit of a half spin going through that long right-hander of turn 8, especially if you lose that concentration. Here we go then towards the start-finish line. Lap 33 of this race. 4 laps to go. Medium Pilot, I think he's a little bit too far back to have a move this time round into turn 1. But Josh already knows that the Williams is there. On the exit of 1 then. Good exit actually from the Williams there. Making our way through 3 and now towards that banking of turn 4. Really banked there. You can carry a lot of speed through there, and you can see here Medium Pilot's got a good exit, better than Josh, and Josh himself got a decent exit out of there, but you've got nowhere to put the car really. If you're not side by side, you can't really put the car anywhere there, and for Medium Pilot for now, it looks like he's just going to have to stay behind.
Yeah, Medium Pilot is literally having to weather the storm from Josh. I think Josh is going to put up a terrific defence, I think, out in front. Just by the way, Carlsberg, I think, have made a slight mistake somewhere out on track. The gap is now 4.5 seconds. Petem is staying within Killer Blue's range of DRS, and he was only 5 tenths away last time around this track. Recon is also on the back of Carlsberg as well, so Carlsberg has got major issues coming in form of a former TTL F1 League 1 champion.
Absolutely. Josh gets a little bit onto the grass there, going through that final corner, but he's pulled out a great lead ahead of Medium Pilot. You can see there from the steering wheels alone, they're both running with minimal ERS, so at some point they'll probably be thinking, I should probably save some of that in a little bit. Killer Blue has now made his way out of DRS range of the Mercedes behind him, which is going to help him in the long run. Now that's Carlsberg's chance to try and close in to the Mercedes ahead. 3 laps to go here in Zandvoort. Carlsberg trying to hold on to 5th place ahead of Recon, but Recon's tyres here might be a little bit worse for wear. We see already that some of these soft tyres runners at the beginning of the race pitted in on lap number 12, and they'd already put a qualifying lap on those tyres, a heat cycle through them. So at best 14 laps. Recon really pitted with 14 laps to go and has put all his bets here. He's put his mortgage on these soft tyres lasting to the end of the race. Looks like they're okay for now, but he's got to be careful about taking too much life out of them, because as you can see here, he's close to Carlsberg. But as you said, James, what are Ferrari going to do? Are they going to let these cars battle or work together to keep Bianchi behind?
They have to try and work together, I think, to try and keep Bianchi behind, because Bianchi, 23-lap old hards, is right on the back of Recon and Carlsberg, and I never thought actually he'd be there. I thought he'd be battling with Venom at this stage of the race, who was literally 2 seconds behind him, and he's under attack from Dobby as well, so that could be quite interesting. Final 2 laps, by the way. I'm going to have a run through the penalties for the top 5. Josh is got 1 warning and an invalid lap time, which is quite interesting. One warning for Medium Pilot, no warnings for Killer Blue. Fantastic stuff from him. Petem has got a 5-second time penalty, which I think he might have served. Carlsberg has got a 5-second time penalty as well, and I'll go through the top 10 actually. With penalty for Recon, I think he got a 5 seconds at the start as well. Bianchi's got a warning. Dobby has got 2 warnings. This is a painful process, this. 8 seconds worth for Venom, and Navy has got a 5-second time penalty, and I think Venom's actually got served up within the pit lane as well.
So what you're saying then, James, is in the long run here, as we head towards the final lap of this race, this could be decided out on track. Josh versus Medium Pilot. They're both 14 seconds ahead of anybody else out on track. This win is solely between them. Final lap of the race here of the Dutch Grand Prix here in Zandvoort. And Josh just about ahead of the Williams of Medium Pilot. Then Legend, a 3-second time penalty for him. That'll be added to the end of his race. Riding aboard now with Medium Pilot in towards turn 4. This is where Medium Pilot might just turn up the wick a little bit. You can see here he's in overtake mode as we head through 5, through 6, through 7 as we head over the crest towards turn 8. Oh, Josh has a moment there. He manages to hold on, but that's an invitation for Medium Pilot. Josh defends as we head towards turn 9. No way through for him for now, but that is an invitation more than ever for Medium Pilot to have a go. Will he try and move down the inside? He thinks about it, but no room there. Josh instantly closes that door in towards turn 11. Not many more opportunities for Medium Pilot here. Maybe down the start-finish straight, but that's about it as we head towards turn 12. Josh hanging on for dear life here. How he controlled that car through turn 8, only he knows. Now making our way in towards turns 14 and 15 here. The Mercedes might just be able to hold on for just one more corner and one more straight as we head towards the start-finish line. It's going to be so close between the two of them, but Josh wins ahead of Medium Pilot by less than 0.2 of a second. He is your winner of the Dutch Grand Prix. A well-deserved victory for Josh there, and great battling there with Medium Pilot. Killer Blue will come across the line on debut to take 3rd place in TTML. A fantastic result for him and McLaren as well. Perpetuum does finish in 4th, but then Dobby, with pretty much 0 penalties, flies all the way up to 4th place there. Perpetuum 5th, Kalsper 6th, Recon in 7th with Bianchi in 8th. Venom comes across the line in 9th place there, and we'll go through the order in due course. But there is your race winner, Josh. He had a moment on the final lap, but it's his moment now. He's the winner of the Dutch Grand Prix. Driver of the day, according to the game, was Venom in the Renault. What a race! Well, there are your top 3 there. A great battle between these top 2. And how much of a warning is that for the rest of the season? The battle between Josh and the battle between his close rival there. A fantastic race to see, and also a first podium for that McLaren driver too. It's just hot in the commentary box. I can't imagine what the drivers are feeling, and especially Josh on that final lap, making that small error in turn number 8. But as always, here are your official, unofficial results of the Dutch Grand Prix. It is Josh who takes his first race win of the season from 3rd place on the grid. Medium Pilot in 2nd with Killer Blue in 3rd on debut, getting a podium. A fantastic result for him. Dobby, another great result. 4th place for him with no penalties. That shot him straight up the order. To nurse that car home. He nursed it home to P5, Kalsper P6, Recon P7, Bianchi in 8th, Venom in 9th, Carlsbury in 10th, Yarum 11th with the fastest lap as well. Gets a bonus point added to his name. Legend in
Yeah, Josh taking the win, Kalsper 2nd. Just to bring up today, actually, on 2 things that I saw on that final lap of the race. Bianchi had a moment, and so did Navy. Navy dropped down 3 positions, Bianchi dropped down 3 positions. Whether that would have interfered on things, goodness only knows. But just to point out on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, I've just had the word from Tom there that there were his PC's overheating, so there's only a limited amount of graphics he can do. So for the benefit of his PC and for the benefit of us as well, we're probably overheating as well. It's been a fantastic race. Venom got driver of the day according to the game, but who would you pick out as your driver of the day, James?
I've got to be honest, I've got to give it to Josh. I think he put up a stoic performance to defend off Medium Pilot, who in the end, both of them on the final lap were on 0 ERS running down towards turn 1. I thought he was literally chips 10 laps before that, when Medium Pilot had about 3 times the amount of ERS compared to Josh. He put up a fantastic performance. He is overall my driver of the day. What about you?
I've got to be honest, I think I'm going to have to go with that McLaren driver in Killer Blue. What a debut. P3 for him. More to come, I think, from Blue there. But yeah, fantastic debut for him. I hope there's more to come, and maybe he might be our rank outsider for a couple of wins later on down the season. But thank you very much for watching. Of course, don't forget the weekly schedule. You can watch some Formula 2 tomorrow as the cars head to Baku. That should be an interesting one. A race of attrition. Just keep your front wing intact and you'll be absolutely fine, maybe. The next time TTML goes live as well, Division 2 and 3, which will be on Thursday. Take your pick which one you go with that one. And Friday, Division 4, Netherlands Grand Prix, Division 4 and 5, Friday night, all the same time, 8 p.m. GMT. Don't forget as well, you can check the links down below. Follow TTML. It's at TTML_F1. I'm sure it's on your screen already. And if you want to follow myself and James on Twitter as your commentary team, you can find our Twitter links down below. But in the meantime, James, I mean, it's Monaco next. If this was quite a dramatic race, I can't imagine what next week's going to be like.
Oh, Monaco is going to be one of those races where I think the drivers have got to have quite a lot of nerves of steel, I think, around Monaco. We will see, I think, a great race.
Yeah, and hopefully you'll be there with us. Don't forget as well, Monaco will be at night. So we're under the floodlights for that one. So make sure you tune in for that one. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I've been Kieran McGinley.
I've been James Head.
Take care of yourselves, and we will see you next time.
Smoking gun, you got me on the run. We know there will come. We're out up till dawn, but how can I hide you without an alibi? It's a rival's fight without an alibi. Took my innocence. I can't wait no longer. I'm playing with the monsters. Everything that brought me alive. Oh, we're all like monsters, playing with the monsters.